Hi, in this video, we're going to answer the question how to receive feedback with a growth mindset. We're going to talk about how beliefs play into receiving feedback, the importance of receiving feedback, why it's so necessary to have an appropriate mindset around receiving feedback, and we're going to look at some specific strategies for developing that proper mindset for really getting the most out of receiving feedback. So the first part of this video, we're going to look at the importance of receiving feedback for your professional and personal growth and development. Then we're going to look at the importance or how beliefs kind of play into the effectiveness of how you go about receiving feedback and applying it and putting it into practice. We're going to talk about some strategies for doing that and doing that more effectively and efficiently. And of course, we're going to look at the practical applications and real life examples of people who knew how to receive feedback well. So being able to receive feedback well is essential in your professional and even your personal growth and development. People who, and it's really kind of a natural inclination, is to not really view feedback as well. We don't even use the term feedback as often as we use the term criticism, right? So when we get criticized, we don't view it as feedback. And the difference there is one of mindset and belief, really. When you receive feedback and view it as criticism, you are being critiqued. Your weaknesses are showing forth, right? Somebody's pointing out your flaws and you become defensive. And being defensive and beginning to point fingers and place blame outside of yourself does not enhance your ability to grow from that experience and learn, which is really the essential purpose behind feedback. And it's important to note that you can't not get feedback. Every time you take an action, you are getting feedback. You are getting a response. When you communicate with somebody, you're getting a response. And that response is giving you information. That information is feedback. We are constantly getting feedback. And when you understand that and begin to appreciate that everything we do gives us feedback, and it's an opportunity for us to learn, to grow, to become better people, to better at our profession, better at a skill, better really in any and all areas of our life. So that essential belief that everything is a life lesson is significantly different than viewing things as criticism, where they're pointing out your weaknesses, the areas that maybe not be quite as developed as you'd want. They are your, quote, flaws. So when you have that mindset, you're going to view and feel differently about criticism. Now, yes, there are good ways to give criticism as well, but inevitably, you're going to have people who know how to do it well and people who don't. And when you get that criticism or critique that maybe not had been done as delicately as it could or should have been, your mindset will filter that negative aspect of it out and just be focusing on, oh, this is an opportunity for me to improve and grow and get better. So one of the things that you really need to begin to learn to do is separate out the the delivery of the criticism or the feedback, right? Because oftentimes it's that delivery that triggers the emotion in us that leads it to being viewed as a criticism versus as a feedback and learning opportunity. So you need to recognize when you're feeling that and then kind of process. Again, better question like, all right, what is the real intent here? How can I make this help me become better at X or Y or be better person or what have you. What's the real meaning there? Whenever you feel that, become aware of that, oh, this doesn't feel quite right, you got to separate from the delivery and focus on the meaning, which is always about helping you improve and become better. So, as always with all of these things, it begins with awareness, right? And then we take that awareness and we apply some new reframing strategies so that we can pull out the important information that we need to apply to make us better. Also, managing our emotions, right? So, this is when we develop habits around things like mindfulness and prayer and meditation and regular exercise. When we have those rituals and routines built into our life, and we experience that, oh, that didn't quite feel right, that didn't quite feel good, we have those those tools, those skills now where we can take our breath, all right, reflect, pull out the meaning that we really need, make the assumption that the person who is giving us that criticism, that felt like criticism, that feedback that didn't feel right, that all right, they don't really necessarily know how to do it as well, or you can try to just say that's their issue. I'm not even going to go with that. I'm just going to pull out what I needed from that. It's separating them and their intent to your intent from the message itself, right? Which is always about getting better. A couple other strategies. One is, again, we've talked about this in other videos, but it's that positive affirmation, right? That belief that you have in yourself, knowing that your value isn't related to your performance, right? Your value as a human being isn't related to your performance. Your value as a human being is separate from that. So any sort of criticism or feedback, and I use the word criticism, when I use that, it's that negative aspect of it, right? That's the part that we don't like and we want to kind of avoid. It's switching that to the feedback, to the positive benefit of it. And again, your own ability to see yourself in those positive light by that constant, as I mentioned just a minute ago, right? It's those positive affirmations you use, the breathing, the exercise, all those things that build you up personally. All that's going to help you deal with those moments and stresses when you're feeling that didn't feel right, that didn't feel good. What can I do about it? All right. In general, though, that belief about all everything is a life lesson, everything is about learning, everything I get as feedback, everything is no, it's not failure, it's not anything personal, it's always about becoming better, 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 better. That belief is what's going to drive those good feelings and that understanding about feedback. And when you view things that way, you begin to look for that opportunity. You look for other people to also, all right, was that accurate? This is kind of feedback I got. Do you see that? Or is that maybe just that individual? And having trusted people in your life who can give you that honest and know that you seek it, that's huge, right? That's part of that accountability that we talk about a lot as well. There are countless examples of people who who use feedback positively. I'm going to first talk about the Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz. And Howard Schultz had built Starbucks. He made Starbucks what it is, and then he became chairman of the board. He stepped aside from being the CEO. And Starbucks ran into some real challenges, some problems. And in the whole turnaround process of coming back on board, CEO, trying to turn this around, he began to reach out. And this wasn't anything necessarily new either. He was well known for seeking out information. But in the effort to turn around the company and take the problems that had arisen within Starbucks and the new, I don't necessarily say attacks, but when you're in a competitive business, right, the businesses are coming in and trying to take away part of your market share and do all those things. And he was reaching out even outside his little circle to try to get more feedback and advice on, like, what do we need to do? Where did we make our mistakes? Where did I go wrong? How could I lead better? And he took all that to heart and applied what he needed to apply to help turn Starbucks around. You can look at this professionally with like professional athletes, and somebody like Serena Williams, who reaches the top of her game by constantly looking to get better, constantly trying to figure out, oh, can I get a little edge here? Oh, what can I do there? Hiring people other than like tennis coaches, somebody like Tony Robbins, hiring somebody like Tony Robbins to come in and work with her to look for that little more, a different perspective, a different viewpoint on what she could do to maximize her full potential. This is why elite athletes often hire outside coaches, right? Tom Brady was famous for having a whole bunch of different coaches, always looking for a little more feedback, a little more input, more advice. And of course, probably the most famous example of all on this view of feedback was Thomas Edison, right? The famous example where somebody asked him, you're going to fail a 10,000th time on how to invent an incandescent light bulb. And Edison's like, I didn't have 10,000 failures or 9,999 failures, right? I just found 9,999 ways not to do this. So all those feedback, all that quote failures weren't failures to him. It was all feedback. All right, that doesn't work. What can we try next? Oh, that doesn't work. What can we try next? Right? That's the epitome of this growth mindset view of how to receive feedback. You receive it in a positive light. As always, please subscribe to our channel, and you might want to go there and check out some of our other videos, or you can use the link in the description to this video and go to one of our webinars that will give you a lot more information on how a growth mindset can empower your life and lead you to excel in any area of your life. So go ahead and check out our channel, but you also will want to check me out at CoachChuck360.com.